Okay, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all my review on SummerSlam Night 2. But first, I'm gonna start this off by saying, look, the hate that y'all seeing online talking about SummerSlam was pure garbage. It was hot garbage. Triple H sucks. Well, Triple H does suck and he is ruining wrestling, but y'all watch SummerSlam with y'all eyes just like I did. And I can tell y'all don't believe that SummerSlam sucked. So, if y'all going on YouTube looking at y'all favorite creators and all they doing is just bashing SummerSlam, and you looked at SummerSlam yourself and you're thinking that it didn't suck, why are you still constantly liking and subscribing to YouTubers that are lying to you? They did the same thing with Money in the Bank. They did the same thing with Evolution. Evolution it was like 50-50, but most of the stuff I saw, they were saying it sucked. They said World Collide sucked. Like, man, it has to be stopped. But in my opinion, SummerSlam did not suck. Night 2 was better than Night 1, but Night 1 didn't suck. Night 1 didn't suck that bad. It was mid. And Night 2 was, I'm going to give Night 2 a B+. I'm going to give it a B+. But we going to get into it. So the first match, you had Naomi, Rhea, and Io Sky. And this is the only problem I have with this match right now, is that clearly we all knew Naomi was going to win. There was never a time watching this match, or even when this match was announced, there was never a time when the audience didn't think Naomi was going to win. And that's the only problem I have with this. It is the booking. I think if we would have did a one-on-one with Naomi versus Io or Naomi versus Rhea or something, maybe you would have had a different expectation. But there's no way anyone thought Naomi was going to lose this triple threat. The moment it was a triple threat, we knew. Just like when Bianca and Io and Rhea had their triple threat, we knew Io was gonna win. Like, it's just the reverse of that. And this match was good, but man, you get these neckbeard simp people, honestly racist people in the comment section that's just constantly hating on Naomi, and they're constantly hating on Jade. Like, man, like, y'all don't even know where Naomi started from. Y'all don't even know where Jade started from. I mean, Jade is a world-class athlete. Like, real athlete. And then Naomi been wrestling, like, forever. Greatest character development, greatest heel right now. And really, it's just white people saying she sucked. I mean, that's all it is. I have not seen, a black person in the comment section going hard on Naomi. Now, some of the black people that saying that they don't like Naomi, it's just bare surface only because she's a heel. But they're not going saying she wrestles trash, she's garbage. They actually liked Naomi when she was a face, You know, they were down with the glow. But soon as she turned heel, you know, they didn't like her. But man, white people are going so hard on Naomi in the comment section. It's crazy. Like, I bet you if it was Lyra Valkyria versus Rhea and Io, they wouldn't have shit to say about it. But on to the next. You know, they're calling it the 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match. I already said the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys was going to be at this event. And honestly, some people are saying that this was underwhelming. I'm not going to say it was underwhelming. I think they had too many tag teams, and there's only so much room you can actually do. But they actually had some great spots. They had some great moments. I mean, how can you say this? How can you say this sucked? Like I said, y'all watching the same show I'm watching. This match didn't suck. It wasn't boring. I didn't get up and just walk away from this. Sorry, I'll keep yawning, but I mean, I knew the Y6 wasn't losing that fast. Honestly, I think this was a terrible decision to even put the belt on the Y6 when they really ain't done nothing. Like, I don't know what story they're trying to say. I don't know why Uncle Howdy's so caught up on, you know, getting these tag team belts. But if they actually flush out a story with the Y6, you know, maybe going on some kind of championship campaign, like, okay, we're getting the tag team titles, next we getting the US title, and next we're coming after the WWE title. I can be down for that story. But you know, if they get these tag titles and keep them and just drop them and nothing comes about, it's like, why even put it on them in the first place? But overall, this match was good. Next, you got pretty much the no disqualification, no count out WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky versus Lyra. You know, of course, Becky wins. I honestly, see, this is what I like. Going into this match, it wasn't just obvious that Lyra was going to win or Becky was going to win. Like, it wasn't obvious. Like, we didn't know. And honestly, they have a story connected to this match, but no one cares about the story. I mean, you may have some people care about this story, but no one cares about this story. A lot of people said that, you know, when this match came on, they just walked away. They went and walked their dog and all kind of stuff. But hey, if they would have actually watched the match, it was actually good. You know, they had some cool spots. You know, they zip tied Lyra's hand and she was still, you know, hitting like backflips, drop kicks, and, you know, stuff like that. Honestly, I thought she was going to hurt her hands because she had her hands in the position when she was zip tied. Just like, I want to say that was Matt Hardy when they had their TLC match or something, and Jeff like landed on his hands or something and like broke his fingers when he did a leg drop or something. I was like, uh-oh, something might happen. But luckily, you know, night 2 was a bunch of hardcore stuff, but luckily everyone was safe and I didn't hear nothing about no injuries. But of course, Bayley, you know, came and interfered. Bayley's still getting the treatment that she doesn't matter. Honestly, I know Bayley likes WWE, but Bayley, just go to AEW with Sasha Banks. Give them, 3 years and you can retire. AEW will put you on the cover and promotional material. WWE won't, but go ahead and just go to AEW. You will be over 1,000%, and you'll probably beat Tony Storm, and maybe you and Sasha Banks could get those tag team titles or something. I don't know. But since Lynch won, Lyra can no longer challenge for the title as long as Lynch is champion. Like, please move on from this story when Raw comes on. Please. Next, you had the steel cage match. Solo versus Jacob. And the crazy part, this was probably the worst match of night 2. And the weird part is, this match wasn't trash. The problem is, they were doing weird things in this match, and it wasn't a squash match. People just wanted Jacob to come in here, do the moonsault off the top of the cage, which he did, but he didn't do it on Solo. But, they actually used the cage as the weapon that it was. They had a lot of cage play in this match. This actually, it's hard to say one of the best cage matches. I would say it's one of the best recent cage matches. To me, it was better than Punk versus Rollins in the cage. But of course, you had a lot of this interference going on. I kind of, Solo didn't need the interference. Solo was actually beating up Jacob a lot. I really would have rather them play on just Solo versus Jacob. It started to make Solo look weak when his henchman has to come out. When Solo was an enforcer, you pretty much had 2 enforcers fighting, and you could have actually did a good job of them just battling it out. Some of the stuff in the match with just the interference wise, they should have just had a clean fight, but I don't understand why they didn't. Like, it's a cage match. If anybody could just keep interfering in the cage match and get in the cage, like, what's the point? They could have just had a really, really, really good fight in the cage and, bleed. Like, come on now. That's why I say this was the weakest match on the card. But Solo still won. Of course, by interference. Next, we had Dominic versus AJ Styles. This match was good. I'll actually give this match a B-. They did some like tribute to Eddie Guerrero when he was fighting Kurt Angle. I'm not getting too much into this whole match, but basically Dominic did his dirty tactics. Like I say, Dominic is Eddie Guerrero's son. That is not Rey Mysterio's son. And people need to just come to grips with that. But, Dominic will be a number 1 draw type champion in the next few years. Once we get rid of all the ruthless aggression, people that's in high places, Dominic has the lore and prestige to be like a top guy. So, this match was good. Dominic pulled off his dirty tricks. I mean, y'all saw it. Loosening up the boot. I mean, clearly AJ Styles, pulled off that boot. And then he want to be like, what? But I get it was a paying homage to Eddie Guerrero. But I still don't get how just hitting somebody with the boot is worse than just, kicking them with the boot on. It's wrestling, so whatever. And last, you got Cody versus John. Honestly, I didn't see this match live. I had to do some stuff, and then I watched it later when I came back. And this match, honestly, man, putting CM Punk and Gunther versus this match, I honestly liked Gunther and CM Punk match better because it was it felt more physical. I don't know why. Cena versus Cody had a lot of spots, a lot of going through tables and stuff like that. But for some reason, CM Punk and Gunther match was more entertaining to me. Getting older, a lot of that hardcore stuff just, it feels gimmicky when you have to go through 5 tables to, still not win, And then, John Cena was whooping Cody this whole match, and then Cody honestly just takes off the turnbuckle and hit John Cena with the turnbuckle and get a really good advantage on him. I get it, but Cody Rhodes is he just shouldn't be that guy. I mean, what is his endurance? You telling me Cody Rhodes has more endurance than The Rock and Undertaker put together? He just hulking up. He not even hulking up. He just, man, when you hit your finishing move on somebody 20 times, I mean, it's just unsettling. And John Cena was having fun. He hit pop rocks, on Cody outside the ring, and it actually looked good. It looked great. So John Cena could do other moves. He could wrestle. I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna give this match an A+ for what it was. Us true wrestling fans know you should not be hitting your finisher, 30 times in a match and still not win. That's just what it is. But y'all know what the surprise came after that. You got Brock Lesnar came back. And I've been saying that, for months. For months, I knew Brock Lesnar was coming back. I felt like he was coming back at SummerSlam. Only because, WWE YouTube channels still post Brock Lesnar matches. Brock Lesnar was never, ever off the official roster. And the moment I think some UFC fighters started spreading rumors that the company has banned Brock, I was like, if WWE ain't say it, then it ain't true. So, I always had a feeling it was going to be Brock Lesnar. A lot of people were saying it was The Rock. My thing is this. I think The Rock and Triple H have real heat. I think this whole Rock storyline is over with. That sell your soul nonsense, which could have been a good storyline, it failed. it failed. And the only reason it failed is because The Rock has a huge ego and Triple H don't know how to book. They had real heat in the past. And when The Rock came to New Orleans and did the storyline of Cody Sell Me Your Soul, that same day he announced WrestleMania in New Orleans, and you had the rock music mixed with Lil Wayne's The Block Is High. I mean, it was so fire. You know, man, WrestleMania, New Orleans was going to be the biggest thing ever. And then, what, not even 2 weeks later or something, Triple H comes out and like, nah, we're going to do it in Vegas again. Like, I think, you know, that would never happen under Vince McMahon. And by The Rock having a higher position than Triple H, I know The Rock felt played. I'm pretty sure the Travis Scott situation didn't play out. I mean, Travis Scott is a huge drug addict. So, how do you expect a humongous drug addict to actually perform in wrestling and training and doing all that nonsense? Travis Scott could barely even hold up a title belt. So, all of that mixed in, I mean, it was almost best if The Rock did step away, but just to give the fans some conclusion of Cena turning face, honestly, just, you know, I would just rather Brock Lesnar be a henchman for The Rock. You know, just to, if you wanted to keep a story going. But I honestly think Cena versus Brock is just going to be a part of the Cena farewell tour. And it's basically just going to be Cena probably facing his greatest opponents. So, you know, we may have Cena versus Brock. Maybe that story goes until his last match. Or we might, you know, we already did Cena versus Orton. We already did Cena versus CM Punk. We did Cena versus Cody. I would say just story-wise, please, we get Cena versus Brock. And then last, we get Cena versus Rock. You know, I can really see that happening. But you also have to remember Triple H is booking matches. And he doesn't do anything correct. Now, when The Rock came with that Roman stuff, The Rock said he had hired his own team of writers. That's why that storyline was so great, because The Rock must have got his Hollywood friends to write some of this stuff. If it's left to Triple H and those idiots that we saw on Unreal, this is going to be booked horribly. But back to the main topic of this video, SummerSlam. You saw the night 1 video, this is the night 2 video. I'm not going to say anything crazy like SummerSlam was the best pay-per-view of 2025, but it's probably number 2. Number 2, you know, it was definitely better than WrestleMania, I will say that, and that's not saying much. But SummerSlam did not suck. You know, I'm sick of people saying like it sucked. SummerSlam did not suck. You know, if I had to rate this pay-per-view, it was definitely a B. And if you want to throw in Brock Lesnar return as a little magic, B+. Yep, I didn't like Jade loss. And it's not even, I don't care that Jade lost. I just care how she lost. She didn't put up a great fight. Like that was a SmackDown match. You know? the Solo and Jacob, they could have gave us more. You know, that's really the only gripes. Everything else was straight. So SummerSlam, I'm gonna give y'all a B plus. So like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section that could have been better, and what y'all think gonna happen tonight on Raw. Peace.